It's that time of year when the forecast turns to chance of snow. But before we start thinking about the upcoming ski season, I think it's important to take a look at the waning days of the summer real estate market here in Summit County. Hey, it's Pete Deininger with the Breck Life Group right here in Breckenridge, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through my 3 key takeaways for the August real estate market here in Summit County. We'll take a look at August this year as it compares to 1 year ago, and we'll also zoom out and take a look at the first 8 months of the year compared to that same time last year. So we'll talk number of sales, days on market, and of course we'll talk about prices. Towards the end, I've got some predictions about what we're going to see in the rest of this year. Let's get into it. First up, let's take a look at the number of sales or the closed transactions in the month of August. We're going to take a look at all the closings around Summit County for all property types. And August was an oddly quiet month this year compared to August in other years. Summer is normally a very busy time of year for us here. There were only 143 closed transactions in the month of August this year, which is down 13% compared to 1 year ago. Now, if you remember my July summary, my July market updates, I was talking about how the broader market through the end of July was only down 2.5% at that time, year over year. And so when we look at the first 8 months, it's actually down a full 5%, meaning August had a really big impact, the month alone being down 13% compared to 1 year ago. So certainly we're seeing falling number of transactions based more on waning buyer demand. I'm going to get to that in just another minute. But it's not inventory. It's not inventory because the number of available properties this year remains higher than last year for the first time in about 4 years. My second key takeaway for the month of August, days on market, or the time that it takes for the average property to sell. So really August this year compared to last year, not much of a difference. It went from 21 days last year to 23 days this year. So the average time it took for all those sales, those 143 sales that we saw closing in the month of August this year, 23 days on market on average. So looking at that alone, not a big shift compared to 1 year ago, but when we zoom out and look at year to date through the first 8 months of the year, it's an actual 50% increase in the time it takes for properties to sell. The average days on market through the first 8 months last year was only 14 days. Now 21 days for the first 8 months of the year. So while 21 days is not a terribly long time to be on the market, especially in a resort market, it's interesting to note the trend line. So I'm pointing it out only because we like to keep an eye on where the trend is headed. And if you think back to 2008, 2009, 2010, the Great Recession, when we were seeing 180 days or longer as the average days on market, we're certainly nowhere near panic. I just wanted to point out that it is taking longer to sell a property this year than it did 1 year ago. Okay, the third key takeaway, prices. Everybody wants to know how our prices holding up, or are we seeing a pullback in prices? For the month of August this year compared to 1 year ago, the median sales price is up 8%. The median sale for all property types around Summit County was about $1.1 million. So still, despite that falling buyer demand, increasing values around Summit County. And once again, zooming out, take a look at the first 8 months of the year. Year to date, we have seen prices increase by 13%, both for average sales price and median sales price. The average sales price of all property types through the first 8 months of the year was about $995,000, and the median sale for all property types was just north of $1.3 million. So you can see that despite waning buyer demand, we are still seeing prices hold strong and improve year over year. If you find this kind of information helpful as you're keeping an eye on the Summit County real estate market, whether you're buying or selling, I'll invite you to subscribe and click that little bell so you get a notification every time we release another video. In the very next video that I'm going to make in this series, I'm going to talk about the recent Fed prime lending rate reduction and what that means for mortgage interest rates. They're not directly related, but the falling prime rate can have an impact on mortgage interest rates and what that means for both buyers and sellers in the next video. As always, give us a call, send a text message if you have any questions. We want to be your resource here in Summit County.